Hi, this is Kathy Hale. I'm here to talk about question 768A. In what ways does your school or district make decisions using relevant evidence and research? How should decisions model ethics, equity, integrity, pertaining to the role of leader as change agent, and how to use reflective practices to examine your own code of ethics? So, I think that the main thing that this question kind of touches upon are all the different sources of assessments that we use to help us learn more about equity and what students are succeeding, what students are not succeeding, and how we need to, as administrators, bridge those gaps so that students who, no matter, what size, shape, color, gender, etc. They have an equitable experience here at school and they feel like they belong. I'd like to go through some of the different ways that we collect data and use research to help us make fair and equitable decisions. The district uses both state and local assessment data at all grade levels to determine areas of strength and areas for improvement. And I'll go into some of the specifics in a little bit. Admin also in our district have received NISL leadership training, which is actually designed to be sort of ethical training that guides leaders in their decision-making process. And I'll get into that also with some examples. And in addition, leaders in our district participate in equity training, which supports ethics, equity, and integrity in all decision making. So I'd like to go through some of the different types of data that we use to make sure that we are serving our community with fidelity and with equity. So first off, the high schools all use the CAS, which is the California test in math, English, and science to get data on how our students are doing. Another way that we assess our students and how we're doing with all of our subgroups is our AP testing. Students we do practice something called open access here at school, which means that students are able to take an AP class if they want to. There's no prerequisite. That actually was a huge gate that was open for students when our district, made this decision to not have barriers for them to take AP testing. And through their test results, we can also see how the different subgroups perform and respond with interventions. Our district now has an EL administrator who is in charge of kind of making sure that the whole EL process is running smoothly in the district. She helps to move reclassifications along so that if students are learning and achieving and doing well, we are getting them reclassified as fast as they are improving. And by the same token, helping students who are struggling and who need more interventions. So that's another person who is now kind of spearheading the EL effort. In the program that I lead called Night Zone, this is a program where we must spend at least 85% of the money on direct student services. That also, I think, is sort of a moral imperative that the money is there to go directly towards students, and most of the money goes toward the actual tutors who are assisting the students. Another thing that we've noticed, as probably other districts do as well, is, and I've read this in research, that our ELs and our SPED students consistently underperform how our regular ed students are doing, and our students who are, I guess, what you would call regular students or white or mainstream or whatever you'd like to call it. And one of the supports that I'm doing through Night Zone is having special sessions on Saturday mornings where they can come in and be supported in their group, in their EL groups, in their SPED groups. And hopefully these interventions that are timed before progress reports are positioned to make the best impact. We also in our district have support administrators and teachers who work on specific areas such as a math TOSA or a science TOSA. We have a math science administrator at the district level who is there to look at data and to support students who are underperforming. Also, one of the things that all admin does is we have teachers on evaluation cycles from year to year, and in our evaluations, part of that coaching is to really help teachers approach their classroom with equity and access and understanding, and maybe teaching them ways that they don't actually have to use the same exact grading formula for every student. Students are different, and there should be room for teachers to also have leeway in helping them. And equity is all about helping kids where they are, not necessarily having the exact same formula for every student. And finally, our assistant principals throughout the district run curriculum councils where they guide and coach teachers who are usually teacher leaders from throughout the district. And they hopefully set the bar as to what the standards should be for the different content areas, and work with the teacher leaders on helping to create equitable systems through formative and summative assessments that are common and shared by members of the team. So as a district, we are promoting equitable practices with regard to curriculum and assessment. So with all of this evidence, I think this shows that our district is using the research and trying to model equity and access moving forward, and helping students with integrity.